Jody Shelley joins me now, and this is, the other two were disappointing to lose, but this one is kind of gut-wrenching to lose this one the way they did, especially battling back to tie late in the third.
It had all the feel of that moment, of that this crowd and this team was going to have that moment to have something to feel good about here tonight. It was such an outstanding start to this game. I mean, you couldn't have scripted any better. And then the second period, okay, you knew the Penguins weren't just going to roll over. They rumbled back. And then Dubinsky takes that penalty, and Dubinsky scores the tying goal. Just flashbacks to 3 years ago. And then as it gets to overtime, you're sensing, okay, there's not a lot of possession time from the Blue Jackets in the offensive zone, but who cares? They're going to get a bounce. Something's going to happen here. There was a couple plays that went towards the net. One went off of the Blue Jackets' Sam Gagner. There was a couple little plays that went on there. But the Penguins did a good job. Listen, the Penguins, some of the plays they made and how they wore down the Blue Jackets defensemen. The Blue Jackets played 4 defensemen for most of this first 3 games, and Jack Johnson and David Savard had to kill big penalties tonight. They're your workhorses. Then you lose one of your huge workhorses in Werenski. There's just too many holes, especially because they didn't play those first 2 pairs, or the third pair, very much in the first 2 games. They only played 10 minutes each. The other guys had to carry more minutes. They started to wear down, especially in overtime. And Crosby, with that little bit of space behind the net, he created a little more. And that Guentzel kid, I mean, this kid is just a rookie. He's got speed. He's playing with Crosby. He's not nervous. They're quick, and they're credit the Blue Jackets. They did a good job of shutting down or trying to match that line all night as far as frustrating Crosby. But you can't shut them down. You can contain them. And you see that little bit of space, they get that overtime winner. And you're right, gut-wrenching is the word. Disappointing. There's no doubt. This was the one they had to get.
Jake Guentzel is just in the right places in this series. It's as simple as that. He had the 2-on-1 goal where he was using his speed and streaking down the ice. But tonight, he was just always in the right spot. The power play goal that he gets, as soon as it caroms off the wall, it's on his stick and in the back of the net before he can blink an eye. He knows where to go when Crosby's back there changing directions behind the net. He knew exactly where to go and set up, and because they have a familiarity now, obviously, but he's just there with his stick on the ice, ready to go.
And the way they make plays in traffic areas, in high-pressure areas with speed. I'm not talking medium to high speed. I'm talking high to turbo. And it's crazy to watch them, the 3 of those guys play. Then you throw out that Malkin line. I mean, he didn't he take over in the second period? I mean, he's a guy that was all over the place as far as where that puck was. He gets an assist just because he's on the back door on that second Guentzel goal, goes off his leg to Guentzel. But those are the bounces you got to get. And again, the bounce off the door that goes the Blue Jackets' way when they tie it up, I thought that was a good moment. The way it felt going in overtime, there was confidence on the bench. But then when I looked at the D-man, you could sense that they were starting to wear down a little bit. And that's it. It's a tough loss. The Blue Jackets now have got to find a way to regroup. But I tell you what, Pittsburgh was relieved and very excited to get this win.
Yeah, you could see that on their faces. They knew that they were in trouble for a lot of this game, but they were able to come out of here with the victory, and now 3-0 series lead. You're talking about Malkin and Crosby, and when you look at the score sheet, they've got their points tonight. But if you are just somebody that looks at the goals, again, this is what happens in the playoffs. Brian Rust winds up with 2, and Jake Guentzel winds up with 3. A lot of people would look and go, who are these guys? But they're the guys playing with Malkin and Crosby and just knowing exactly what to do.
Yeah, and they're not the focus. I mean, those guys are not the focus on the line. And that's the wonderful part about being a forward on those lines is that you have ice, you have space. You know that Crosby's going to have a guy on him, but he's going to find that little bit of a play to get you that puck in those areas, and that's the importance of those guys. How about the third and fourth line? You see it around the league with those depth lines stepping up and making big plays. I thought Josh Anderson had a nice opportunity. What a play he made. Dubinsky had an opportunity to win this game in overtime. And Josh Anderson with a heck of a play off the goaltender, too, that came out towards, it was Brandon Dubinsky, puts it off the face mask of Fleury. There's instances like that where, Atkinson last game had that open net. The Blue Jackets have created chances, but as we've talked about since day one of this series, Pittsburgh does not need much of an opportunity, and you just look at that overtime goal. Guentzel has a guy in front of him, behind him, and the goaltender. But the Pittsburgh Penguins there did something that really teams haven't done all season. Attack from behind the goal line. Bobrovsky, have we seen him much having to look behind, try to find out where the puck was, And that's something the Blue Jackets has done an exceptional job of keeping guys away from the back of the net where they can set up like that. And that's where I think Savard was tired. He couldn't make that play on Crosby. And there's something else they do very well, Bob. Cross-zone passes. I don't think there's a better team in the National Hockey League who can change the angle of the puck across the zone with that wide, quick, hard pass. Phil Kessel's one of the best, so is Malkin. And they do it with such speed, and they pick it up so well that it's hard to defend, not only for the defenders, but for the goaltender, to go from one side of the zone to the other and find that guy now who's got the puck through traffic. It makes it difficult. So credit the Penguins and those plays in the offensive zone.
Which kind of leads to my next question for you. Sergei Bobrovsky doesn't look like Sergei Bobrovsky. I mean, this is a guy that in the regular season, many nights, it looked like there was plexiglass on the front of the net.
Right.
And it just, the other team could not get the puck into the net whatsoever. He gives up 5 tonight. Spell it any way you want to. That's 5 goals for him. We've seen it take a month for him to give up 5 goals, but in this series, they've had their way with